Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences, and Well-being. We are also commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and also India's G20 presidency. Today, we are also commemorating various other national and international events. So before we start our session today, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, we are commemorating International Day or International Albinism Awareness Day with the theme, Inclusion is Strength. This year theme, Inclusion is Strength, builds on the last year's theme of United in Making Our Voice Heard. Its aim is to ensure the inclusion of voices of persons with albinism in all sectors of life. It emphasizes the importance of inclusion of a diversity of groups from both within and outside the albinism community. Specifically, this year's theme highlights the importance and benefits of including a broad spectrum of persons with albinism in albinism-related discussions, including youth, women, child, and older persons, LGBTQ+, and persons with albinism of all races and ethnic backgrounds, collaborating and embracing albinism with the disability movement and in other sections where decisions affect persons with albinism and seeking synergies with human rights groups and other groups from outside the albinism movement. Everyone is welcome to use this theme, especially on and around the day itself on 13 June. You are also welcome to choose your own theme. So albinism is a genetic condition inherited from both parents that occurs worldwide regardless of ethnicity or gender. The common lack of melanin pigment in the hair, skin, and eyes of people with albinism causes vulnerability to sun exposure, which can lead to skin cancer and severe visual impairment. As many as 1 in 5,000 people in sub-Saharan Africa and 1 in 20,000 people in Europe and Northern America have albinism. In some countries, people with albinism suffer discrimination, poverty, stigma, violence, and even killings. In some countries, women who give birth to the children with albinism are repudiated by their husbands and their children abandoned or the victims of infanticide. The movie industry has seldom portrayed people with albinism accurately, preferring to depict them as villains, demons, or freaks of nature. Violence against people with albinism is largely met by social silence and indifference, and it's seldom followed by investigations or the prosecution of perpetrators. Albinism is a rare, non-contagious, genetically inherited difference present at the birth. In almost all types of albinism, both parents must carry the gene for it to be passed on, even if they do not have albinism themselves. The condition is found in both sexes, regardless of ethnicity, in all countries of the world. Albinism results in a lack of pigmentation, melanin in the hair, skin, and eyes, causing vulnerability to the sun and bright light. As a result, almost all people with albinism are visually impaired and are prone to developing skin cancer. There is no cure for the absence of melanin that is central to albinism. While numbers vary, it is estimated that in North America and Europe, one in every 17,000 to 20,000 people have some form of albinism, the condition in which is more prevalent in sub-Saharan, with estimates of 1 in 1,400 people being affected in Tanzania, and the prevalence as high as 1 in 1,000 reported for selected populations in Zimbabwe and for other specific ethnic groups in Southern Africa. So there are various health challenges of people living with albinism. The lack of melanin means persons with albinism are highly vulnerable to developing skin cancer. In some countries, a majority of persons with albinism die from skin cancer between 30 and 40 years of age. Skin cancer is highly preventable when persons with albinism enjoy their right to health. This includes access to regular health checks, sunscreen, sunglasses, and sun protective clothing. In a significant number of countries, these life-saving means are unavailable or inaccessible to them. Consequently, in the realm of development measures, persons with albinism have been and are among the left furthest behind. Furthermore, they ought to be targeted for human rights interventions in the manner envisioned by the Sustainable Development Goals. Due to lack of melanin in the skin and eyes, persons with albinism often have permanent visual impairment. They also face discrimination due to their skin color. As such, they are often subject to multiple and intersecting discrimination on the grounds of both disability and color. Attacks against people with albinism are hate crimes. There are disturbing reports of attacks and abductions of persons with albinism in two different countries, both of which had little or no known attacks against persons with albinism until the recent months, says the independent expert on albinism, Wilke and Multi-Drummond. One of the victims was a child whose body was reportedly thrown into a river after her eyes and organs have been removed, no doubt for ritual purposes. So similarly, the worst expression of discrimination against persons with albinism is their dehumanization, which lays the foundation for the horrifying physical attacks against them. Because some believe that they are magical beings or ghosts, they mutilate or even kill them so their body parts can be used for witchcraft rituals. So let's watch a short video.
I've been bullied half of my life, you know what I'm saying? So it started with the name calling, then the pushing, then the shoving, and the next thing you know, I'm getting kicked and jumped in restrooms. And I've been as low as it could possibly go with bullying. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with the suicidal tendencies and attempts. I've dealt with every bit of it. And I felt so alone. The last thing I want to do is to make anyone feel alone. As you can see, I'm albino. I lack all pigmentation in my hair, skin, eyes, and I have a specific form of albinism called ocular albinism. So I have literally no pigmentation whatsoever. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood and a predominantly black school, and children, you know, they don't know how to deal with something that's so different. And it started there. I want to let people know that I'm there. Bullying is a real thing. Depression is a real thing, and it should not be taken lightly. Yes, it is a platform that I use to better contact my peers and youth. I speak, but sometimes just simply talking doesn't do it. Music helps pierce that. When you're born, when you're a baby, you know no hate. You know no pain. You know no discrimination. That is taught. That stuff is taught to us as children. The second we remove things from our youth that teach that type of hate, stop labeling things. Let's just love. If we could just teach love to our youth and teach love to our people and keep teaching that in our communities, then yes, there will be a change eventually. I would get us more involved as people into the environment and get more leaders to continue to push that love and that peace and that care on to others. Stand up for human rights.
Más discurso de odio. No puedo decir que estoy sorprendida. Al ser una persona con albinismo, he tenido que defenderme toda mi vida. Ahora defiendo a otros como yo en escuelas, lugares de trabajo y debates públicos. Odio. No puedo decir que estoy sorprendida. Al ser una persona con albinismo, he tenido que defenderme toda mi vida. Ahora defiendo a otros como yo en escuelas, lugares de trabajo y debates públicos. Tengo un trabajo de tiempo completo, así que hago esto durante mi tiempo libre con otras personas con albinismo o sus progenitores. Pero no es fácil. Algunas personas piensan que solo estoy tratando de desacreditar al gobierno o de enriquecerme. Sin embargo, realizo esta tarea a un gran costo financiero para mí. Otras personas son muy despectivas de mi opinión solo porque tengo albinismo. Siendo una mujer que habla en público, recibo insinuaciones sexuales inapropiadas. En algunos países, las defensoras como yo incluso reciben amenazas de muerte de personas que creen que pueden ganar dinero con las partes de nuestro cuerpo y no quieren que su negocio se vea comprometido. El odio, el abuso y las amenazas que recibo pueden ser abrumadoras a veces. Afortunadamente, descubrí que soy una defensora de derechos humanos, una DDH, y que hay organizaciones que apoyan el trabajo de los y las DDH. Una de esas organizaciones me dio una capacitación en línea muy necesaria sobre cómo mantenerse al resguardo. La organización también me ayudó a comprender cuán importante y gratificante puede ser nuestro trabajo, especialmente cuando nuestra lucha da como resultados cambios en las políticas públicas. Incluso recibí un premio en materia de derechos humanos por parte de una embajada. Tal apoyo y solidaridad me fortalecen para seguir defendiendo a las personas con albinismo. Ahora sé que como DDH, mi gobierno debe protegerme para que pueda defender los derechos de las personas con albinismo sin miedo, porque defender los derechos humanos es un derecho humano.
I guess my memories of my childhood in Hong Kong is a lot of legs. When you're short, that's kind of all you saw. And it was very sunny, so hot and sunny. I think that's how I remember my childhood in Hong Kong. But there was also great memories like my dad's record collections. So when I was little, I actually can't recall myself meeting anyone with albinism. Well, actually, one of my classmates had albinism, but that was later. When I was really young, I think about 5, 6, my 3 sisters, they came home from school, still in their school uniforms and all excited and said, look who we, just guess who we saw today. And I thought, probably just a movie star or a singer. And they said, we saw a girl who looked just like you. She had white hair and she had like fair skin and she was so tall and slim. And they were so excited. And I thought, oh, okay, so probably I will be all right. I will also be tall and slim when I grow up. Recently I was in a shop and the shop assistant came up to me. It's a tall guy, muscular. And he came up to me and said, excuse me, I really have to ask, what's this? And he gestured towards me, what's this? What gene pool is this? Well, I have to sort of quickly figure out what to do, really. In some ways, I don't think he meant any harm. It wasn't pleasant for me. I don't think that would be pleasant for anyone. I mean, you can ask yourself, is that all right to say to someone with albinism? And I look Chinese. Is it all right to say to someone just because I don't look like him? I just heard about this designer who is very open-minded and a bit crazy. Jean-Paul Gaultier, because he made dresses for men, skirts for men, I thought. So I was quite lucky. It was good timing, I think, for his then coming collection. It was, the inspiration was sort of Tibetan, Mongolia culture, so I fitted right in. And that's kind of how I started my modeling. I hope for myself and for other people with albinism is, I mean, these are things that a lot of people can relate to. I think a lot of groups in the society can relate to. I mean, just equality, respect, tolerance, and a bit of kindness. I think some people think kindness is sort of like patronizing, but I don't think so. The world would be so much better if we all can show a bit more kindness. Don't fence me in, let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but as you please. Don't fence me in.
So hope now you have an idea how they look like and what kind of issues they go through. People with albinism face multiple forms of discrimination worldwide. Albinism is still profoundly misunderstood socially and medically. The physical appearance of a person with albinism is often the object of erroneous beliefs and myths influenced by superstition, which foster their marginalization and social exclusion. This leads to various forms of stigma and discrimination. In some communities, erroneous beliefs and myths heavily influenced by superstition put the security and lives of persons with albinism at constant risk. These beliefs and myths are centuries old and are present in cultural attitudes and practices around the world. The United Nations Human Rights Council adopted a resolution in 2013, 23/13, calling for the prevention of attacks and discrimination against the persons with albinism. Moreover, in response to the call for civil society organizations advocating to consider persons with albinism as a specific group, particular needs that require special attention, the Council created the mandate of independent expert on the enjoyment of human rights by persons with albinism. In June 2015, the Human Rights Council appointed Ms. Ikposa Ero as the first independent expert on the enjoyment of human rights by persons with albinism. In August 2021, she was succeeded by Ms. Muluka Ani Milidrama. While it has been reported that persons with albinism globally face discrimination and stigma, information on cases of physical attacks against persons with albinism is mainly available from countries in Africa. Persons with albinism face more severe forms of discrimination and violence in those regions where majority of the population are relatively dark-skinned. In other words, a greater degree of contrast in pigmentation often gives rise to a greater degree of discrimination. That appears to be the case in sub-Saharan African countries where albinism is shrouded in myth and dangerous and erroneous beliefs. The figures on violations against persons with albinism are telling. There have been hundreds of cases of attacks and killings of persons with albinism reported in 28 countries in sub-Saharan Africa in the past decade. The attacks have several root causes, including ignorance, long-standing stigma, poverty, and most apparently harmful practices emanating from manifestation of beliefs in witchcraft. The alarming reality is that these horrendous practices continue today. The manner in which discrimination faced by persons with albinism manifests itself and its severity vary from region to region. In the Western world, including North America, Europe, and Australia, discrimination often consists of name-calling, persistent teasing, and bullying of children with albinism. Little information is available from other regions such as Asia, South America, and the Pacific, etc. However, some reports include that in China and other Asian countries, children with albinism face abandonment and rejection by their families. The Ugandan government in Uganda has recognized albinism as a disability. This has led to the development of National Action Plan, and the plan, developed with the assistance of UN Human Rights, provides better assistance in all sectors from health to education. Tanzania has witnessed a spate of brutal attacks and killings on the people with albinism. The attacks are linked to the myths and witchcraft. In a bid to protect this vulnerable group, the Tanzanian government has resolved to round up children with condition in 13 centers throughout the country. So with this, we shall conclude this commemoration, and let's all support before that, let's watch one more short video.
Salamat Akiza. Marisak. Sa hatong mga isod na narorong din. Kasan eh? Yo. Anaonya narewo.
Charlene Nangaya. Afirin ke lui
Anaonya narewo. Saulikieli yansu nawe wavi nifirene Batina tsaro no fona Vefanda ndaya dinu Zane mana na fe Maru nizuku maru Yetu zarai kwanye Suna ya kisi Sura tamni famzaka Suna ya kisi Mana kia lufana Bata dubimu Mafisi salamata Yana trami chiaruka Mila losi mialavu Suni akisi mata dubimu
Génial, c'était super, bravo.
Iraya mandreni, nambwari na uwauka tena adidinao tatano aorizoky mba iotra ny nataonao sary tondra vaovao maro ny zoko maro eto zaraiko anefa tiako fantatra soratra amin'ny fanjaka manaky alofana ravitserisetrako sony ankizy matandrovy mo
Nice. Weekend. Super. Okay. Tsy zavatra tenenina tsony. Tsy zany?
mafisi salamata yanatra mikiaruka milalasi mialavu suni ankizy matandrovy mo
Today is also commemorated as International Axe Throwing Day. It encourages axe throwers, both professional and amateur, from all over the world to gather to celebrate and promote the urban sport. The day aims to inspire sporty people to participate in a unique and enjoyable pastime, reduce tension, and simply have a good time with their friends and family members. Axe throwing clubs all across the world will be opening their doors to anyone interested in trying out the sport for free on this day. After years of being used to chop down trees and fight in combat, the common axe has been transformed into the centerpiece of a fun-filled pastime that does not entail destroying forests or getting into scrapes with other participants. Axe throwing is indeed a sport in which the objective is to strike a target with nothing but an axe, as the name implies. Like with darts, the participant aims for the bullseye on the huge target. Axe throwing is thought to have begun with the loggers, often known as lumberjacks. Nowadays, during the 19th century, the sport has recently become a global craze. It is particularly popular in the United States and Canada, where it started as a competition in lumberjack contests. However, in recent years, it became quite popular throughout the Europe, making it easier for those who want to find a place to throw their axes without having to travel far. When axe throwing becomes competitive, various restrictions must be followed, such as target always being a specific width and comprising firings in a similar vein to archery. The closer you get to the center, the more points you will earn. The importance of the safety in axe throwing competitions cannot be overstated. There are usually stringent safety precautions in place to protect both the competitors and any spectators who may be present. Consequently, you can be confident that you will have a great and safe experience when you participate. Axe throwing leagues typically last 8 weeks and are offered by most venues that provide the service. The World Axe Throwing League has established a set of standard norms and guidelines, for example, target size, point system, and throwing distance. As the world's largest axe throwing club, Bad Axe Throwing is recognized for popularly the sport and mainstreaming axe throwing. Competitors and non-competitors alike can enjoy axe throwing as a sport or a social activity. As it is a unique and enjoyable sport, it can encourage people to learn more about axe throwing, and it encourages some research on an axe throwing activity. Axe throwing is an interesting skill to learn, and there is no one correct way to do it. Many people are surprised by the fact that there are different techniques to it. There are various benefits, including engaging in axe throwing, which is a distinct, fun pastime, relieving stress and having a good time. Today is also commemorated as International Community Association Managers Day in the US. Community Associations Institutes, in short known as CAI, is proud to celebrate the International Community Association Managers, which is dedicated to more than 55,000 community association managers in the US and thousands more worldwide. They are the professional backbone of the condominium communities and home owners associations that they serve. Providing the skills and expertise, they are essential to successful operations and governance. It is an young industry that has experienced tremendous growth in almost 50 years. In 1970s, there were roughly 10,000 community associations in the US and only a few community association managers. Those who discovered the profession had little training or resources in the field. Most came from related industries like apartment management, hospitality, and tourism and commercial development management. As the number of community associations across the world grew, the pioneers of the profession realized the need for specialized education and skills. Today, in the US, there are more than 355,000 community associations that are home to more than 74 million Americans. Many of these communities rely on the over 55,000 community association managers who work tirelessly to meet the needs and expectations of the residents and ensure the volunteer home owners who govern the community succeed. Community managers with CAI designations hold themselves to the highest ethical standards in their work with community associations. More community associations are developed every year. They have become more popular housing choice for people around the world, especially condominium buyers seeking proximity to the city centers, public transportation, and schools. Condominiums and other planned communities provide owners with the benefit of shared amenities such as pools, walking trails, and other recreational facilities that may otherwise be unattainable. Community association management has plentiful career opportunities, tremendous earning potential, and a broad job market from the biggest cities to the most picturesque island gateways. The Urban Land Institute, ULI, publishes the first systematic study of planned communities with the name Technical Bulletin number 50, the Homes Association Handbook in 1960. ULI and the National Association of Home Builders model a planned unit development statute in 1965, setting the framework. Community Associations Institute is formed as a national organization to provide education and act as a clearinghouse of ideas and practices for the community association housing market in 1973. CAI launches its professional management development program to educate community association managers in 1980. A CAI partner organization, now known as Community Association Managers International Certification Board establishes the Certified Manager of Community Associations credential, the first step managers take to demonstrate their expertise in the field in 1996. CAA offers its first online course, The Essential of Community Association Management, in 2004. CAA establishes its first international chapter in South Africa, demonstrating that it has become the international center for community association information, best practices, education, and advocacy in 2010. CAA celebrates the first ever International Community Association Managers Day in 2022. If you have a good understanding of finances, maintenance, and project management, then you may be the good fit for the career of community association management. Some states require community association managers to be licensed since they control funds, prepare budgets and financial documents, and deal with the repair and maintenance of their community. Professional education and credentials offered by CAI or CAM ICB offer managers opportunities to excel in their careers. There are few responsibilities of a community association manager, that is administration, upholding high ethical standards, financial oversight, maintenance of amenities, and insurance and loans. General management and governance of the community, including communication with homeowners and board members, handling and documenting information and records, and organizing meetings of the association. Assisting the association in development and enforcement of rules stated in the community governing documents, addressing community violations, and answering questions regarding regulations about the association while helping the board follow their procedures. Assisting the board with the financial management, budgeting, and cash flow of the association. Working with vendors to ensure that the property and facilities are maintained and functioning properly, helping the board by obtaining and maintaining insurance and loans for the association. So it is a tough but rewarding job. Community association managers work resolutely toward the betterment of their communities and help homeowners have the best possible experience where they live. Community association managers are often confused with related career paths such as property managers who focus solely on rental communities. It is important to create awareness about the distinct job description and responsibilities of a community association manager. Today is also commemorated as National Call Your Doctor Day, to encourage and remind you women, especially to schedule their yearly Well Women exam. In US, the Well Women exam is an exam for women in US to review their reproductive health. The reason why this day is observed midway through the year is that many women delay routine care. They place other priorities before their health, like work, family, and other obligations. In this way, they overlook the fact that a single phone call can save their lives. Today is also commemorated as National Dance Movement Therapy Advocacy Day. To educate more people about the new and unique form of psychotherapy called dance or movement therapy, making waves around the world. That addresses mental health by honing in on the body movement and dance as a natural expression that aids physical and psychological healing. Furthermore, it is a holistic therapy that believes that the mind, body, and spirit are interconnected and that changes in the body reflect changes in the mind and vice versa. Numerous people have benefited from this form of therapy worldwide, and many more are starting to practice each day. Dance movement therapy, in short known as DMT emerged as a field in the 1940s as early innovators, many of whom were accomplished dancers, realized the extensive benefits of using dance and movement as a form of psychotherapy. The American Dance Therapy Association, in short known as ADTA, defines it as a psychotherapeutic use of movement to promote emotional, social, cognitive, and physical integration of the individual. For the purpose of improving health and well-being, the idea of dance as therapy is credited to former dance educator and performer Marian Chase, who shifted her focus from dance techniques and education to her students' individual movement communications and expressions. An increasing number of therapists worldwide are recommending this form of therapy as an evidence supporting it continues piling up. These days, it's common to find many places offering DMT in various locations. Today is also commemorated as National Forklift Safety Day in US. This is an initiative by Industrial Truck Association, as there are anywhere between 35,000 and 62,000 injuries every year involving forklifts. Several cases involved bystanders or pedestrians. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, estimates that over 70% of these accidents were preventable. So this day, National Forklift Safety Day, is committed to the safety of those who manufacture, operate, and work around forklifts, an opportunity to highlight the importance of operator training and pedestrian awareness. Stakeholders and industry experts come together on this day to share resources on the best safety practices while using this indispensable equipment. These trucks get their name from their signature fork-like prongs that slide underneath heavy loads and scoop them up. The Industrial Truck Association founded National Forklift Safety Day in 2014 to highlight the importance of safety while using forklifts. The day emphasizes the crucial need for operator training and daily equipment checks. The conversations include not only forklift manufacturers, but any industry that uses forklifts. The day usually features events where safety experts, government representatives, and industry leaders discuss the myriad aspects of forklift safety. Also on the agenda are demonstrations of forklift safety activities in localized areas. These activities hope to make warehouses, manufacturing plants, and other forklift association spaces safer. Many dealers and manufacturers sponsor these events to generate public awareness and create safe workplaces. Today is also commemorated as National Productive Business Civility Day in US to raise awareness about the power of productive business. And it is dedicated to increasing productive business. People from all over the world and various industries engage in productive business practices and maximize their relationships, collaboration, and partnerships for better economic development and engagement. Productivity was greatly affected by the World War in 1914. The Great War made a significant dent in industrial production and the labor force. Later, during World War II, industrial growth restarted and the things became better for the US as the production of war materials increased and women began to enter the workforce. Today is also commemorated as National Saving Mission Day. Elias Hovi or Isaac Singer are the two gentlemen who are credited with the invention of the modern sieving machine. While the wheel, telephone, and personal computer get a lot of glory for changing how humans live, the sieving machine is also somewhat of an unsung hero. Without it, however, we would still be squinting to thread needles and stitching together our shirts and suits by hand. Today is also commemorated as National Weed or Garden Day. Every good gardener knows the weeding is essential to gardening, as watering the plants or enriching the soil with fertilizers. Weeds grow very fast, and if you are inattentive, they might even deprive others plants of nutrition and space. We recommend weeding regularly since it can become overwhelming if the garden is left unattended for long periods. You can also keep the weed growth in check by using weed-free soil and not letting weeds go to seed. Gardening is a fun, relaxing hobby for many of us. While some prefer flower gardens, others might enjoy tending to a kitchen garden. Gardens are not just a ready source of herbs, fruits, vegetables, and flowers, but spending time with plants can also uplift your mood. Those who enjoy gardening are also better equipped to deal with stress and other negative emotions. While weeding is one of the more taxing aspects of gardening, it's essential to remove weeds regularly to ensure that your plants stay healthy. Weeding can be done by hand or mechanically with a mower. Some of the most common weeds that you will spot in the garden are dandelions, clovers, ground seals, and common daisies. Today is also commemorated as Random Acts of Light Day in US as part of Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night Walks fundraising campaign. Random Acts of Light Day is celebrated every year on June 30, which encourages us to do random act of kindness to bring light into the life of someone suffering from cancer. People observe the day by volunteering at hospitals, reading up treatments and cures for blood cancer patients, or joining the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night Walks to raise funds and increase awareness about leukemia and lymphoma. Random Acts of Light Day aims to make the world a kinder place for cancer patients and their families. Today is also commemorated as World Softball Day. And it is not just promoting softball, it is about promoting physical activity for good health. It also nurtures the spirit of sportsmanship and social integration. Also inspires future generations of girls and boys to seek excellence and inspire empowerment from sports. This is a great day to go back to sports and encourage those around us, especially children, to pursue sports seriously. Softball has been a favorite among Americans, and it will continue to so for many years to come. The softball is usually made up of dirt or brick dust. However, the field may also be made of solid and dry surfaces such as artificial turf or asphalt. There are 4 bases in the field: first base, second base, third base, and home plate. The bases are arranged in a square and are usually 60 feet apart. Near the center of the square is a pitcher's mound, and within the circle is a small fat rectangular The bases are arranged in a square and are usually 60 feet apart. Near the center of the square is a pitcher's mound, and within the circle is a small flat rectangular piece of rubber that is kept no more than 50 feet from the home plate. Depending on the league the game is being played in, the object of the game is to score more runs than the opposing team by hitting the ball and running around the bases, touching each one in succession. The game of softball usually has 7 innings. Each inning is divided into a top half in which visiting team bats and tries to score runs, while the home team tries to record 3 outs in the bottom half. The teachers road. Some leagues may even play with a time limit instead of innings. This week is also commemorated as National Clay Week. The pottery and ceramics communities celebrate the multipurpose use of clay. The annual Council of Education for Ceramic Arts conference is also held this week. And National Clay Week also raises awareness of educational and professional opportunities related to pottery and ceramics. It also celebrates the beautiful artifacts made with clay, objects that have monetary, cultural, and artistic value. There is also focus on how material possessions are important to us and the values they convey. Pottery might be the oldest human intervention. It has been around since before the Neolithic period. This is because clay has 2 important properties that make it an ideal material. Clay can be molded into any shape we desire, and when it is baked, it becomes virtually indestructible and cannot be destroyed by any organic substances. Pots made of clay were used by early. The color of the artifact depends on the type of clay used, but they are often decorated by adding embellishments, embossments, or adding layers of paints. Earthenware pottery has also become a medium of art. Artists have painted on them for centuries, and they have become important relics of art history and culture. Another form of creation made from clay is ceramics. Some ceramics are made with the kaolin or white china clay. As compared to the earthenware potteries, ceramics is a fairly new invention. In the medieval times, ceramics from China made their way to Europe. They became prized possessions and were displayed at the house of very rich for their intricate designs. Another form of ceramic, bone china, is easy to manufacture. Our system this week is also commemorated as National School Grounds Week. It advocates for the outdoor play and learning for the children and appreciates the tireless work of countless groundkeepers who work hard to maintain the grounds. The UK's children's charity Learning Through Landscapes organizes the National School Grounds Week, which strives to increase the duration of outdoor play for children, thus allowing them to connect to the natural environment and be physically active. Through play, children learn the value of hard work and increase their self-esteem and social skills. Currently, sport is vital to the children's development and education, which was not always so. In the early 19th century, sports and garners were of no interest to the headmasters of public schools. Today, we are also commemorating Maharana Pratap Jayanti, which is celebrated in northern and western states of India, particularly Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan. And according to Hindu calendar, the king's birthday is on the third month of Jyeshta Masa, which is June 13 this year in Gregorian calendar. So it is celebrated in the honor of the great Rajput ruler of the 16th century who stood up against the might of the Mughal Empire. Maharana Pratap has also inspired Rajputana culture, warfare, and scientific thinking. His presence is still greatly felt in the architecture and traditions of Rajasthan. It was believed that the Maharana Pratap was more than 7 feet tall and he would wear body armor of more than 70 kilos and a spare weighing 80 kilos. He had 11 wives and 22 children, and his eldest son Maharana Amar Singh I went on to become his successor and the 14th king of Mewar dynasty. Maharana Pratap died in 1597 after being injured in a hunting accident. He is remembered for his immutable honor and love for his people. Rajasthan has a unique place. Jaipur is pink city, Jodhpur is blue city, Udaipur is white city, and Jaisalmer is golden city. So Rajasthan has these color-coded cities, and it is the largest state in India, which is as big as Germany. And India's nuclear weapons are tested out in Pokhran, which is the only nuclear destination in India, in Rajasthan. And there are temples where rats are worshipped. In Karnimata temple, Bikaner, rats are worshipped alongside the temple deity. And the Kambalgar forest is the second largest well in the world, which is located in Rajasthan. So Maharana Pratap was one of the most eminent rulers to have ever ruled in India, and his Jayanti pays homage to the great king and his visionary leadership. Maharana Pratap is worshipped as an example of honor and patriotism. And this Jayanti helps us to understand what love for our people and land truly means. It also teaches us how to conduct ourselves with honor. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemoration. Though there are a lot of things that can discuss. So if you have any queries, you can share your observations. The feedback form has been raised in the form of polls. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback is mandatory for receiving certificates. Dear friends, we request everyone to quickly fill up the International Webinar Series overall feedback form for the day. Those who have not registered, we have shared the registration form in the chat box. We request everyone to submit the feedback form, and later on you can register. Every day registration is mandatory. With the same form, you can register for every day.